Hi guys, we're gonna do another vlog. One of the things that people were asking about was with regard to the hospice, how do you do it? Which is the question I get a lot. Gray Muzzle Manor, along with the animal assisted psychotherapy, still does senior dog rescue and hospice care. And it's kind of case by case because it all depends on funds, just like everything else. And a lot of times the hospice dogs, they come in with the intention of them being adopted out, and then maybe we find out there's something going on, and it's just best if we just keep them where they are and kind of provide palliative care, which, like, kidney failure is one that's seen a lot. So I started doing hospice maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and probably losing 2 dogs a year or so. The rescue in 2017, out of the 22 dogs that we took in, I think maybe 5 had ended up being hospice or had some severe medical condition in which we didn't end up adopting them out as planned, and they stayed in care. So to try to keep the video kind of on task, because I have trouble with that sometimes, and Houdini's supposed to help, but thanks, Bales. I found a website that kind of like gives some questions that people often ask about euthanasia, and I thought I would kind of go by that as a guideline. So the website kind of looks at what determines a good quality of life for my pet, and that's something that I'm constantly looking at, and that really is the main determination. I want every minute to be the best minute ever, because I don't know if it's going to be the last minute. An animal that's in hospice care, even any animal, but an animal that's in hospice care could crash in the evening, and you're in the afternoon and you don't know that that's coming. And you know, I want to just make every moment the very, very best, which is why they get to be farm dogs, or they get to be in, you know, their regular hospice foster homes and just get so much love and quality care, so that we can ensure they have good quality of life, no matter how long that is. I don't think the time really matters. It's quality, not quantity. I've had dogs for a couple of days before and end up having to euthanize them, and I've just learned, and I believe that what they remember as they're passing away is what's most recent. So if they had a really good day, or they had even a really good week, really good day, that's what they're thinking about. And quality of life also to me means dignity. So if a dog becomes so incontinent that they can't, they're sitting in their own urine, or they're sitting in their own feces, if you look at their faces, I mean, they know they don't want to be doing that. That's not dignifying, and that's one of the things I look at as well. That's not saying, you know, if a dog's paralyzed and they need assistance getting out or that kind of thing. This is like, they don't even know that it's happening, or they can't get themselves out, and there may be a large dog that I can't pick up and physically get out. That's one of the other things. And just, what I see as a happy animal, an animal that's engaged, wants to be engaged, an animal that has light in the eyes, that gets some enjoyment out of something. And once those bad times start to outweigh the good times, that's also when look at euthanasia. And it's never an easy decision, and it never gets easier. I've never come up with some kind of system in my head that helps me to make this decision, other than really determining quality of life. I sometimes will say that I maybe sometimes euthanize them sooner than maybe others, but I don't want them to know suffering. So if I have any control over that, I will not allow them to know suffering, or at least suffering as I can, because like I said, I just believe that as they're passing and they're passing away, they're going out of their bodies. If the last thing they know is suffering, then that's what they think about. And I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's right. Maybe who knows. That's just what I believe. And so yeah, that's what the website looks. Does your pet seem irritable, restless, or confused? Has he lost his appetite? Drink water excessively? Avoid favorite activities? They're getting picked on by the other animals? Seek out unusual places to hide? Some of those I don't really see, like the stuff with the other animals, and maybe that's because my gang's used to mostly dead dogs. The first one it brings up is the confusion. We've dealt with a lot of canine cognitive dysfunction, and it's like Alzheimer's, and it's devastating. And they get confused, and it's getting worse and worse. A lot of times it's worse after the sun goes down, like sundowners with folks with Alzheimer's disease, and they're not there anymore for that amount of time. They wander in a kind of patterned way. They get confused. They're kind of agitated, anxious. They can't settle, and that's something that that's not a way to live. There are things that we do to try to minimize the agitation when that starts to happen, confining them to a smaller space, routine, obviously keeping routine. There's medications on the market that have been of assistance before, and a lot of times that stuff will work for a while and then it doesn't, but we still typically give it a go. So sometimes when I'm wondering if it's going to be time to euthanize somebody, I wonder if, like, why am I choosing this? Is it because I don't want to deal with the issues anymore, or I don't want to do the cleaning up anymore, or I don't want to, is it selfish? Why am I really doing this? And that always goes through my head. But then I try to look back at those basic quality of life characteristics. And I kind of do know in my heart when I decide that it is something we're gonna do. My body kind of reacts with a release of anxiety, in turn kind of telling me that this is going to be the right choice. It's especially hard when it's a cognitive issue that you're doing it, because there's nothing physically wrong with them. But I can't, if I have the power to prevent suffering, confusion, and being scared, then I'm going to use that. Unfortunately, with people, we don't have that. But with our animal friends, we do. So we can make sure that they don't know pain, and that they have happy times. And pain control obviously is another one. We utilize all different methods of pain control, and add more and higher doses and things like that, to continue to keep that animal feeling as good as we can. And I've tried to make it a peaceful time. I think with the animals and people, we don't want to talk about death, and we don't want to, we just want to push it under the rug. We don't want to talk about it. And it doesn't have to be that way. It can be a very beautiful time, and it's crazy to say, and a very peaceful time. And I kind of feel like it's an honor often that I get to be the one to be present as, we're allowing them to leave their bodies and go off to whatever's next. I get to be the one there. I'm never ready. I always want more time. I never feel like we got enough fun, but it doesn't really work that way. So that's why every minute I just want it to be the best, with the most blankets and the comfiest beds and the most love and trips and time outside and playing and good food, and so that's kind of how I do it. I don't know how I do it. Somebody has to. Most of these dogs that come in, whether they're hospice or not, are dogs that nobody wants. Rescues don't want them either. And somebody has to want them, and they have to matter to somebody, and I want them, and they matter to me. And I, of course, wish I could do more, but I can't, because, it's very costly. So I just focus on saving one at a time, and, really just doing the very best I can for that one. And I want them to be wanted. I want everybody to feel wanted and loved. That's part of this place, is so that everybody feels wanted and everybody feels love, and that's for people too. And so I think if I were to be used to euthanasia or numb to it, then maybe that would be the time when I shouldn't do hospice anymore, because my heart's not in it, and it's devastating every time. My heart gets a piece of it ripped away each time, whether they're with me or another foster home, and then they take the piece with them, and you never forget them. We try to plan the euthanasias if possible. Always use a sedative, and I've done multiple euthanasias at home, multiple euthanasias at vet's offices. It kind of just depends. The ones at home are the most peaceful, like Samson. I was thinking of Samson, the lab mix. I don't know if you guys remember him. We decided that it was time to euthanize Samson, and the vet came and we put him in bed, like my bed, and cuddled up with him because he likes to do that. He used to like to kind of spoon in bed. So we did that, and he got his sedative, and so he just fell asleep. And we were laying with him, and he was just snoring away, and then he got the euthanasia solution, and he passed away in bed. So it couldn't have been any more perfect, and it was just you know, amazing that we could do it that way, and I have a lot of gratitude. So yeah, I guess this isn't exactly a happy topic, but I want to talk about it, and I like to share as much of that vulnerability and discomfort with the public as possible, because I want the view of it to change, and I want people not to be scared of the possibility of euthanasia or making the choice. One, in turn, that might open up people to the idea of bringing home a senior animal or a hospice animal, and number two, maybe it will show that it can be a good thing and a positive experience. And that's why, you know, I do, there's pictures and just, you know, raw things are shared, because I want to share it. So I love doing the hospice. I hope that's something, you know, I can continue to do for a long time. And again, you know, it depends on funds. So you know, we're always looking for donations. You can even donate directly to our vet's offices. We use Delilah Veterinary Services and Exeter Vet Hospital. And you can actually donate right to those accounts. So, because I typically won't take an animal into care unless I know that I have the money in the account to care for them properly with whatever they throw at us. So the journey that you'll be sharing and watching with us is Rocky currently. Rocky is a 14-year-old Cocker Spaniel, little mixed guy, super cute. You've seen his pictures. His family couldn't take care of him anymore, and he is in kidney failure. It's kidney disease, which is kind of what I was wondering. And that, as I learned with Sebastian, the dachshund, it's a very quick thing. So his foster mom, you know, of course, wants him to stay with her as her hospice dog, and he's doing very well, and he runs and jumps, and you know, nobody told him that he's supposed to be sick. We're the ones that put that on them. And he gets special food and medication, and you know, we'll kind of just keep doing whatever we can until he doesn't want to do it anymore. So we're happy to share that journey with you. So I think if hospice teaches me a lesson, it's about making every minute count, because you never know if it's going to be the last one, and you never know if you're going to look back and wish that you'd done things a different way, because you can't change it no matter what. And just loving them no matter what, accepting them for who they are, where they are in their lives. And that's really all that matters. So I hope you got something out of this video. Keep following us. like I said, always looking for donations. Grey Muzzle Matters is a nonprofit organization, tax exempt. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.